You guys, last week when we talked about the fact that Tommy doesn't like going out with any couples like in this town, like only in New York, which we go to like 3 times a year if we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
So I wanted to say we kind of have to circle back and apologize to the people in LA who we love. But like, I feel like Tommy's got more of the apologizing.
I don't feel
to
like
do.
I have to apologize to anyone because I've made it abundantly clear on the episode that that's just how I am. There's nothing against any of your friends.
You should care about people that have listened to this and have been like,
you're the one that threw them
what
under
am
the
I,
bus.
chopped
These are your
liver?
friends. You said that you didn't have any friends. You didn't like anybody in LA. I didn't say it. I just said I like to prefer to stay home.
If y'all heard last week, you know that we had an amazing trip where Tommy, like, come on, this is the thing. I had the best time too. And I think there's another aspect of this.
I heard back from her.
Yeah.
And she feels that she was made
the
fun
her,
of.
just clarify that the her is the wife of your best friend who we went on vacation with last month.
Yeah. Her. I heard back from her.
Nah.
She feels like, again, she's, is being
ridiculed,
made fun of worse than everybody else. And I told her, that's why you got the trophy. You got a trophy. You're going to be made fun of about that trip into perpetuity. That's going to go on your head forever.
I love the group text we're on where you wrote that she was being made fun of and then you told her that but she was the most fun, and she's like, that's for sure. I definitely was. I brought the laughter. I brought the entertainment. I brought it all. I am everything.
Yeah, she definitely feels she got made fun of more than her husband. Listen, it was necessary.
So nobody wants to talk about or ever deal with difficult things in life, but today's episode, it is going to be sad, but so important. And we're listening to you guys and the things that you write to us. And we even have some questions at the end that specifically came from you guys to the Till the Dirt page on IG. And it's got to happen, right, Tommy? This episode has to happen.
Well, listen, one of the things that I read, and I read all the reviews and the comments too. One of the things that people enjoy or really like about what they get from our podcast is that we're real and we're authentic. And you can't be real and authentic without telling all the truth. There's peaks and valleys to life. There's ups and downs. And this episode, we talk about some of the downs. And when your father got sick, it was not a happy time,
Trigger warning. This week is about... There was this ill-fated day when I'm kissing my dad, squeezing his hand as I always do. I give him a hug and his fingers were lifeless and unresponsive to me. I called my friend and I described what was going on. He said, "What are you talking about?" Because this is a doctor at Cedars-Sinai, my friend. He goes, "Call 911 right away." So my dad gets rushed to the hospital where we find out a lot of really dangerous things are happening in his chest. Blood clots, his head, it's stroke. Long story short, our lives never became the same again. And Tommy, you've got your whole thing you're going to say, but I just wanted to say that our relationship went from being this like sexy, boozy, fun, romantic, crazy, wild, fly by the seat of our pants, like amazing thing to this sudden, drastic, our new job is to be sitting in a hospital bed comforting my father all day, every day into the middle of the night. When you really want to get into like, who are you getting into bed with, really want to go through something together, well, hell, we got dealt the worst thing that I never ever wanted my father to pass away. I always told him that he had to promise me to stay alive for 250 years.
Yeah, well, he's not a vampire. He's not Count Dracula.
He promised me. So when my father got sick...
Unless he was Count Dracula, it's not a promise he could keep. But when he was sick, it definitely brought us close. Like, from that point on, more or less, we both knew that we were in it for the long haul.
That led to going to the emergency room.
And then the next day, you were like, yeah, he had 8 strokes. He's in real bad shape. And I felt fucking terrible because, we still were just kind of fighty. And, I'm a nice guy, probably one of the nicest people most people will meet. I like to joke around, have fun. But if you want to catch me at my worst, it's when I'm tired or when I'm just woken up.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Oh,
you know,
yeah. Ooh,
I'm
honey.
a bear.
You know what? You are still
Bear.
like that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm a bear. That's one of my things. Do not get me cranky. Do not get me tired, and do not just wake me up and expect me to be rainbows and unicorns, because I'm not. I'm a fucking dick. And I was a dick this night, and then I felt real bad. And, from like that point forward, I wanted to show her because again, she has all these people in her periphery, but everybody's got their own shit.
Yeah, we had an emergency. And from that point on, no matter how much I thought that he was going to completely heal and become who he was when he was 60 or 50, that didn't quite happen. We were able to extend his life, but the quality didn't ever really rise up the way we had hoped.
But our life is stuck in this vacuum of work, hospital, shower, work, hospital, repeat. We didn't do anything else. That was it. We tried to be as happy as we could in that time. The cameras were actually up for Shaz for a lot of that too. And you could see, and remember that scene, she was not, in a good place, but she was being real, real strong. And you could only shine the light so much. So nobody really saw all that went in to her just getting out of bed every morning.
My dad and I played tennis. We swam in the ocean. We did like extreme sports, basically. And then we went there was this one doctor's appointment where I was like, Dr. Horsandy, can my dad and I still swim in the ocean? And he looked at me and he goes, are you crazy? Your dad's not strong enough anymore to deal with big waves. And I think about all the time how much I was holding on to the things that I wanted to be able to do.
And you did that a lot with booze. The backdrop of the beginning phases, even throughout our relationship, she was drinking a lot. Now, I drank a lot too. It was a lot of fun. We party a lot. But there was also, among that backdrop was what's going on with her dad. To see her with her father, it's a beautiful thing to witness, because there's a magic that they had together. There's a chemistry that they had that you can't put a price on it. You can't make it up. And I like to tell a story about her dad. We would pick him up, like on the weekend, we go pick him up. We'd bring him back to the house. He hang out for the day. And then normally I would drive him back alone.
So by the end of the day, I was too tired to drive. And you were like, oh, don't worry about it, babe. I got it.
I got to spend some time with him. I got to talk with your father a little bit. It was just me and him. He was a real nice dude.
I never thought of it that way, but that's very cute.
Yeah. And I might get emotional. I hope I don't. But, he was a real special guy. And one of the stories that I like to tell about her father, to kind of put a nutshell of the type of guy he was, I used to drive him home, and more often than not, oh shit, man. More often than not, we would just shoot the shit. He'd give me a little vantage points on his thoughts on life. Stuff like that. But again, he had lost a little something on his fastball. So, the communication wasn't always great. Some days were better than others. And this particular time, he's like, you got to take me to my parking lots. You got to take me to my lots. I got to go to my lots. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm thinking of calling her. I don't know if this is, because he had parking lots. He doesn't have them anymore. Relatively close to, where they lived. And I didn't even know where they were. I knew about them, kind of like heard them in passing, but he was like, I got to go to my lots. I got to see.
They're on Sunset.
Yeah, right behind the Viper Room. And the only reason I know is because he's now directing me. And again, this guy isn't always, at his sharpest. And he's like, no, I got to go to my lots by Viper Room. We have to go. I got to go there. I'm like, all right. So I bring him there. And shit, man. The guy working there, and, he started crying. The other guy, he had to go tell the other guy that Shams was there. And the guy from the Viper Room came out. The guy from the liquor store, they're all looking at me like, who the fuck am I? You're with Shams. You know what I mean? And just in that little moment, bro, you could tell. Fuck. Oh. I hate this. Sorry. Just in that moment, you could tell how magical a guy that was. And I'm proud my son has his name. I'm grateful for the time I got to spend with him. That story is a story I'll always tell, and hopefully I'll be able to get through it at some point in life without fucking weeping like a baby.
Kind of like
But,
if you don't give Shams some candy.
yeah, but he's a special
The baby
guy.
Shams, I mean.
He was a special guy, and that was a special moment. And again, no one else in the world can know that that moment happened except me and him and those other people who I never met, who I don't know, never met. This special, special person that was a part of your life is now, like I said, he's not the same. Because I could tell it. So I know you could tell that he's not the same. And then he had like 8 strokes one night. And like we had been fighting, like so much to the point that when you told me, I turned it into a fight. Like Tim's, when I got work, bro. I got work in the morning. So unless I had the strokes, I got work. You know what I mean? And when she told me in the middle of the night, I was like a real dick. You know, I to this day, I feel bad. You know, to this day, I feel bad that how I reacted in that moment because you didn't deserve it. But like I said, we have been bickering. And one of the reasons that we have been bickering is that she was carrying around all this weight and still trying to keep a smile on her face. And, you know, as someone who has been in that position, it might have been when I was 13, but I've been there. I should have been more sympathetic to it, or at least more cognizant of it. The fact that you were going through what you were going through, and, you know, alcohol was just helping you get through it.
I think it was taking what I thought was definitely taking the edge off.
And from that moment forward, for the foreseeable future, I'm talking, you know, the next 4 to 6 months, because, you know, again, he was never the same from that moment forward with me either. He was never the same. There was no more of us picking him up and him coming. He lived more or less the rest of his life in some sort of hospital or whatever, with better moments for certain, but just never really the same. We were able to get him to come over for Christmas and like that, but I had to carry him.
What it turned into was that he had to go into a lot of physical therapy in order to be able to stand up.
Yeah.
And he ended up having to have a feeding tube.
That's as it progressively got worse. And this time, you know, this was really for us as a test, because we've already been through a lot, you know, when you go through it in the course of a relationship in a pretty short period of time. And, you know, there were moments of doubt, but right away, that all went out the window because I just didn't want her to have to go through this by herself. So it was just her and I, you know, especially after my initial reaction. I was such a dick that, you know, I wanted to, you know, I'm a loyal guy, man. I go down with the ship, and I wanted her to know that I had her back. So like from that moment forward, day in, day out, I would get up for work at, you know, 5 a.m, go to work, come home. She'd, you know, jump in the shower, and then she and I would go to the hospital. And, you know, we'd be there until they kicked us out at night. And I'm grateful for that time with us together. You know, when we had each other's backs, we always will. We had a lot of laughs. It wasn't just misery. Like there was a chicken wing place up the block that we would go to.
An Irish pub.
Yeah, an Irish pub that we'd go get wings at nightly, and we'd have just as many laughs as, you know, she had tears when we go back. But you know, it made me more amazed by my woman. She's one of the strongest people I've ever been across. And I'll tell you one thing, she gets a lot of it from her mama. Because Darth Vader, you know, that's when she and I got real close, because I think Darth Vader, you know, I was there every day. She wasn't. First of all, to her credit, you know, they're divorced. She doesn't have to be there every day, you know. And I remember in that moment, you used to call and give her shit about not coming more or whatever. She came a lot, man. She would go to work. She'd be on her feet all day, busting her ass, and then she would leave work. Sometimes she'd come there and sit with us all night. You know, again, they were divorced, but that's the father of her daughter, who, you know, she might give a lot of shit to, but at the end of the day, she was there for you, you know, as much as she could be in that time.
Well, what's really cool, if we're going to actually talk about something so unique about my parents, is that we all lived in our own condo units in the same building. So as a divorced couple, my parents
what you guys did was not normal. Like when you tell people, it's crazy.
Yeah, even though my mom and dad got the divorce, it was very cool that they still stuck around for each other, for the important stuff, for the family stuff, for the sake of things like this.
Well, I mean, you guys you vacation together. You still would do a lot of things together. And what would happen at night? How would that even work? Like when you guys would go take a trip together as a divorced couple, does Darth Vader stay in her own room?
My mom and my dad and me, if we traveled, I don't care if you're talking about our trip to Capri, In Italian, you say Capri or Vegas.
Do you say Vegas in
No, in
Nevada?
Farsi, we say Las Vegas.
Okay.
Las Vegas.
Okay.
We only and always had one room.
Okay.
My mom and my dad and I
Well, listen,
always
Shams,
had one room
Shams to the bitter end
together.
lit up for Darth Vader.
Oh, big time.
Like,
Big time. More than me.
lit up, dude.
More than me.
Yeah, maybe even more than you, because you'd see a light come into his face, the both of you, when you were together. It was really magical to look at. But he would light up for Darth Vader, dude.
Like Rockefeller
still
Christmas
trying to
tree.
get her something like I've never seen. And she knew it too. She knew she had him. She knew that, he was still wrapped around her finger.
Oh, I think she's aloof.
Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy.
I mean,
she's a smart broad, your mother.
She didn't know.
But it'd be crazy because, we would go out to dinner, Darth Vader, you, him, me, and it's Marty McFly, bro, with the DeLorean, dude. It's like Back to the Future. I would see my future, I'd see him sitting there, and these two just yelling at each other in Farsi, and him be totally tuned out, trying to feed the dogs, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's me.
Giving the Chihuahuas and the Pomeranians
who shouldn't even be in the restaurant.
Filet mignon.
Who shouldn't even be in the restaurant. These ladies have strong arm. They're they're bomb detecting dogs. They got their dogs with them. He's feeding them, and I just would see my future. That's me in 20 years. I'm just gonna sit. Only he knows what they're saying. But he's looking at me yeah, you don't want to know what they're saying. You don't care.
But Persians, we talk like we're fighting. When someone the next door neighbors hear you telling a story, they probably think it's a brawl going down. But you're just telling a story.
Just talking.
Right.
Yes, for sure.
So you 100% saw my mom and I and thought it was fighting, but we were really saying should we get the surf and turf? Should we get the branzino? Should we get the mash? Should we get the asparagus? What sides are we getting here today? We were just trying to talk about what we're going to order. We were just having a regular conversation.
Yes.
So lost in translation was that. But what I hear is that you're saying some of the hardest stuff that we've ever gone through together brought us closer together. But before we got closer together, it almost pulled us completely apart. It almost broke us apart. Broke up. You and I were the most at each other's throats because my dad was in the hospital. I was constantly afraid. I was constantly scared. My adrenals were at a 20 million out of a scale from 1 to 10. Every time I heard an ambulance, I thought the siren was for my dad. I don't know if I slept. And,
and no offense, you were also fucking delusional. Your expectations when you would talk to these doctors are all right, they tell you all these terrible things that he just went through. And you'd be like, all right, cool. So we love to play tennis. How long do you think we're going to be before we're playing tennis again? You know what I mean? And they would be like, what?
So
I'd be like, yeah, don't worry, doc. She's just fucking nuts. It's all right. She's just taking it on.
So this is what would happen. We have these, what you said, very horrible, nightmare conversations about the situation. The x-rays, the scanners are all showing horrible things. And I was like, yep, he's not going anywhere. He's going to stay. So go ahead. I'll be out there waiting, and you go ahead and you save his life. Thank you. How many hours? 18 hours? No problem. We're good. And I would tell my dad, I'm like, you're not going anywhere, right? And he'd be like, no, sweetheart, no. I'd be like, I know he wasn't going anywhere. I knew. And he pulled through. We pulled through. And the number of hours I stood in emergency rooms to wait for a scan, a doctor result, a blood, a this, a that, was, I want to say, it felt like 5 years of my life. There was just a point where you're not going anywhere. You're watching all of your friends live their best lives. At this point, we're going back to people are still day drinking. You're still going and doing trips and weekends and dinners. And I was
right before that, we had been that's where we were. We had all the places she's talking about, during the week on a Wednesday. I got home at 3:00. I went to work early, but then we get home. So we go out, day drink and do all that shit. And then within the blink of an eye, that was gone, and
because when your dad is sick, you're like, I'm not going to go anywhere or do anything because I need, first of all, it's not fun.
I don't know if everybody could say that. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? My father, but you weren't. You definitely weren't. Like you definitely were not leaving that.
I
guy's
could
side.
not be well if I like if someone was like, let's go out and let's get like turn up and whatever. I was like, no, because I can't, because I won't be able to stop thinking about my dad. I will not be able to put that on ice at all. I can curl up to my boyfriend and curl up to a bottle of Chardonnay. That's what I was drinking back then. And those two things and my dogs. And I would always smuggle my dogs into the ICU and all those hospital sections that they were not allowed in. I would smuggle them by taking them in carriers, strollers, blankets, you know, everything. They didn't. Then I'd put them underneath his hospital bed blanket. And
But listen, it was worth it for him because he loved those dogs.
of course,
He'd
I
light
did
up.
it because I needed, yes.
Yeah, you get real excited when you see those dogs. You're not the most mature. Part of your charm is that you're not that type of person to be worried about handling all that type of stuff. And I saw you step up and you handled it all great. I know how proud he was of you. You know what I mean? And
Well,
I
he
think-
knew I had his back 100%. And
Yeah.
like he saw me fight for him. And, you know, what I'm getting at is that through this process of having a sick loved one, there are very specific decisions that you have to make. Like the one time that his aftercare facility was actually a really, really scary place for my dad to be. And it was very difficult to leave him there because there were very scary voices coming from the neighboring rooms. It sounded like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It sounded like a mental institution instead of a rehabilitation center for what my dad is supposed to be healing from. And if you find yourself in this position, or if you've been in this position, you know that it is a very difficult thing. But you are the one that is advocating for your parents, your loved ones, your sister, your brother. You're in the trenches, making smart decisions on the fly. The doctors and nurses are relying on you. You have to educate yourself. I feel like I might have gotten my medical degree analyzing all the statistics and all of the results of blood work. And hopefully, if you have big family support, not everyone does have a huge family around them, you're just doing your best. You're doing the best you can do. So this one night, my dad looked at me and he was like, get me out of here. And I go, Dad, our insurance will not pay for your health care if we
can't be
leave
leaving.
tonight.
You
We
can't be
can't
coming
just
and
go
going.
home.
You can't
It's
be
not a
coming and
hotel.
going.
This is
Yeah.
like, you just left ICU from Cedars. We have to do this now for like the next 60 days and hope and pray for the best. And he was like, get me out or I will call a cab the second you leave. So I was like, fuck. So I had to I was like, shit. I found a wheelchair. I had to transfer him physically onto this chair. Then we're like out of the curb. The curb door is like scratching the sidewalk. The dogs are like, smushing him and falling. And I drove him home and I had to carry him. And it's hard because he wasn't strong enough to try to do a transfer by yourself. A transfer in my language, in my lexicon, is when you have to physically be like a male nurse. That's why it was a lot of emotional and physical torture to be good at all of the aspects of it. How do people go through that? Like, I'm just like talking about it. I want to know, am I the only one? Certainly not.
Yeah, and listen,
The way that you
I'm
showed
just
up.
sitting here thinking, like, even in again, as I said earlier, bro, I got work in the morning, so I'm going to work. It's just always how I've been, unless it's me. But I'm saying someone like you with the job that you had, you have a lot more freedom to it. So, like the real estate, before that she was rocking and rolling, but that stuff immediately took her, stop. So is it
You
good
only
that
have one father.
Is it good that she has the ability to stop that and go more focus entirely on her dad?
Yes.
Or is it better that maybe she has a job that she has to worry about
No.
so that she doesn't? That's what I mean. I don't know. I'm sitting here playing just armchair quarterbacking.
Well, if
you
you
can
had-
only speak
if
to
you're-
it.
if
You
you-
wanted all the moments with him, so
Hey, listen, if I had siblings, then maybe they could have split shifts.
Yes.
Or, maybe I had siblings, but they live in Maine. I don't know where they are. Like, What about, other local family members? It's just, no, I'm glad
And
that,
no, and
if
again,
I had
that's-
a job that was 9 to 5, I would have quit it if I needed to. So my dad and
Understood.
I were clearly the thickest duo that ever lived. Hopefully my son and I will have that connection, the three of us, you, me, and him. And, I feel like we've already started to create that amazing bond. But what I do think is that I said I didn't really know you from Adam. The way that you showed up for me was like you went from being this like good time guy. All we did was just, drink like fish and like rabbits. Then to waking up at the crack of dawn every morning, you went to work, and then you did another 12-hour shift with me and my dad. Day in, day out, you never even questioned where you were going. We knew we were going to the hospital. And after he fell asleep, then we would have those like French fries at that Irish pub.
I mean, listen, we had a good time too. We made the best of a really bad situation. We weren't like Snuffleupagus walking around kicking the can all the time. Like, you were just so optimistic. It wasn't, you could be with someone in that situation just really upset and really nervous. And you were like, yeah, all right, so, he'll be all right in a couple of weeks. We'll be playing tennis in a couple of months. I mean, I'm sitting there like, this bitch is crazy. But whatever gets her through the day, I'm not going to rain on her parade. If this is what helps her get through it, then, this is, all right, cool, man. Let's play doubles. I never played tennis before, So, sorry, this was a little bit more of a depressing episode, but I just still think it was, if you want to know us, we try to keep it real. This is a story. We're telling the story of our relationship that's going to have, its ups and downs. It's going to have its good and bad. There's vows that you take when you get married, and one of them is sickness and health. So it's a part of life. And this is a part of life that we kind of come into.
You said that I sucked at my vows, but I actually...
Your vows were terrible. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
But...
I've been waiting for years to get to that. I can keep waiting.
But we put into action the vows. We were being there for each other.
Yeah.
So even before we took vows, we were living in action of those vows.
Yeah.
I just want to bring it back to all of us, since we're like a loyal little family, and people that are listening are really the third person in the conversation. So I love to know that if we're talking about it, we're all going to get each other through this, because there's going to be someone that who's going to need to hear this, someone that's going to need like a little pick me up, a little support, or know how to ask for it, or where to go, or how to cope with it.
Yeah, we're all going through the same shit.
You guys, we reached out to you on this topic, and we got questions from you guys on this topic. And the reason why this is so important to talk about is because I really did feel like we were on an island, and I would have liked some more support. All of these questions are super important. And the first one comes from KRPC75. When your father was sick, did you ever let him see you cry? I never did. I always cried at home. Yes, ma'am, I agree with you. I did what you did. I held it in, and I made sure that when he saw me, I walked in like I am taking him to Disneyland.
Yeah, I can attest to that. You'd have other family members that would come in and be sad, and not you, man. You were, every time you saw him, it looked like, like you said, we're going to Disneyland.
Big
ready?
Smiles, big energy. Cry in the hallway, honey. Cry in the car, and just make him look like everything is positive. Pump him up with all the good energy. So yes, KRPC 75. And the next question.
Oh shit, your mother. I don't want her to wake up the baby.
Our mom is here, you guys.
Yeah, let me go let her in, babe.
Okay, well then, if you know what I think we'll do, you guys, we're gonna have a rare appearance on this show today from the one, the only Miss Vida Javid, Darth Vida.
Yeah. You film me too? I mean, if they're going to see me? It's cold here.
Oh, you're sitting right in front of the air conditioner.
It's getting cold and...
It's going to get hot as soon as we turn it off.
No, anyway, weather-wise, it's getting cold. I mean, the temperature is cold and...
Today? Yeah.
Today, tomorrow, the whole week. We are going to be fall. Summer is over.
How's the audio on Miss Vida?
This is a microphone?
Okay, so I have some questions and I'm gonna tell you what they are. All right, so Mom,
Yes.
we got questions from Instagram asking for our help. And a lot of people come to your your page on your IG for advice. So KRPC75, she said, when your father was sick, did you ever let him see you cry or did you cry at home? So when you're seeing a loved one in the hospital, do you cry in front of them or do you cry at home?
What should they do? Okay, my question is, now I have a question. Can you control your sorrow? Can you control your feeling? Because sometimes you cannot control your feeling. If you feel like crying, you are so emotionally sad, and what you are seeing makes you very upset. The loved ones that is in hospital and is sick, so you don't have control on that. I mean, are you an actor or you are a real person? There is no instruction about that because this is about your genuine emotional.
So just let it all out. Be whoever you are feeling in front of
If
them.
you feel like crying and express your feeling to the patient, do that. If you don't feel to do that, and then you like to mourning at home at your privacy, then do that too.
Okay.
I mean, each person is different. You were doing both. Sometimes I was seeing tears in your eyes and also falling to your face, but not like ho ho with a loud voice. But you were, of course, when you were arriving to the room and you would see him like pale, and sometimes he was looking better, sometimes he was looking worse, not look-wise. Of course, look-wise, he was the Alain Delon of the place.
That's the handsome movie star reference, Alain Delon.
Yes, I mean, I saw it on Instagram. They classify him as a most handsome man ever. The most handsome man
Like Leonardo
ever.
DiCaprio?
No, Alain Delon.
Oh, I know.
No, Leonardo, no.
Is
Nobody
Alain Delon-
mentioned it like that. Only Alain Delon.
Does that mean that Leonardo DiCaprio is not as attractive? He's not as good looking?
They look different. Leonardo is blonde. Leonardo very dark black hair.
Alain, you said.
Alain Delon. And blue eyes, beautiful blue eyes. Leonardo, of course, has a beautiful turquoise blue eyes. But the color of Alain Delon eyes is different, blue, darker blue than against the black hair. And also,
And my dad was the Alain Delon.
he was in the original, the Purple Noon, the name of the movie, the original of Talented Mr. Ripley.
Okay, next question. Bink331 wrote in and asked us, what was the positive that came out of the hardest time of a loved one's illness?
That is sick.
Yeah, like maybe it forces you to tell them things that you've never told them before.
Sometimes, I mean, it can bring you closer together because maybe you spend more time with that person, take care of that person, like cooking for that person, serving that person, spend lots of time, more than usual. If the person lives far from you, you manage to spend days and nights
Together.
with that person.
So you're saying the good thing out of when someone is sick, they need you. And when they need you, you get to be there for them and do things for them that you normally wouldn't do because life gets busy. We all stay at home.
No, because they didn't need that before.
Right.
Before they were healthy and they didn't need that kind of attention and care. Now they are sick, the situation is different. They need your help, they need your attention, physically and spiritually. So now it's the time that by giving them those things, not only bring you close together more than ever, makes you feel good, makes the patient feels good, and it can create so many good things too. But of course, our priority wish is that the person get well as soon as possible.
Okay, so Jeanette Nat, spelled Geanet Nat, she asks, When is the right time to take a step back and take some time for yourself?
I mean, you always have to take care of yourself. You have to get enough sleep so you can be there for them. If you are tired and you are not in a mood and you feel sick, you cannot be really a good companion for them.
Yeah.
So you have to be happy, you have to be healthy, so you can be there for them.
And you also have to take a shower. You have to wake up and let that water hit the top of your head. You always tell me that.
In the center of your head. If
Yes.
the water doesn't go center of your head, it's not counted.
It doesn't count. You have to be fresh. You have to brush your teeth. You don't let your basic things fall by the wayside. Make sure you're drinking water. Get your exercise.
Yes, put on a nice dress. Of course, you always have to dress nice and clean, especially when you go to hospital. You have to be very much presentable.
Because
Makeup and everything.
because the person that's in the hospital has been stuck in that bed. So if you come in and you look good from
the
the
hair
eyes,
not brush and the tired and the bags under your eyes, you make that person feel even
more
worse.
depressed.
You want to go there fresh and nice.
Right. Oh, I don't think my mommy, I don't think you're going to be into this, but somebody asked, okay, Funzy Wifey, I don't know if you're going to get the answer that you're looking for because I know my mom very well. And this question is, do you think that crystal healing therapies work? Do you believe in crystal therapies?
Pardon?
Do you believe that a crystal can be therapeutic?
Crystal, is the name of the person?
سنگ کریستال سنگ
سنگ کریستال can be
healing.
healing.
خیلی ها فکر میکنن که اگه سنگ مثلا دستت بگیری it's healing. I really don't think that's my
I
mom's
don't
thing.
think so. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
And you were saying I just heard you were saying that you know me, I'm your mom very well. It's not true. You don't know me at all.
So today we're talking about going through some difficult times. But what Tommy and I were saying about you is that you are a very strong human being. And that when people need you, you come through. You don't disappoint. So now I'm going to put the pressure on you big time. And I'm going to ask you, what are your top 3 favorite qualities about your character?
Number 1, I don't lie.
True. That's true.
I really don't lie.
No lies detected there. That's true.
Number 2, I'm honest and I really express my true feeling about everything, and I express my opinion, especially when people ask for it. If a person asks for my opinion, I will give them truly. In other words, I'm no one's kiss asser whatsoever. And number 3, at this age, at this stage, I love my grandson.
But that's not your character. That's just something you
Yes,
like.
it's my character because I didn't know I'm going to love him or love her. I didn't know because I was not crazy about children. I was very cool about children. So I didn't know about my feeling about my grandson whatsoever. I didn't know, am I going to love her? Am I going to not love her? Is my love is going to be so-so? It's going to be strong? Because there are different grandparents. Some grandparents become crazy about their grandchildren. They really go crazy for them, love-wise. I love my grandson very much, and he's really a love of my life.
As your daughter, I'm just glad that I am able to give you someone that gives you pleasure, especially now that you're retired, and it's going to give you and me a whole new chapter because now we can do things that we have never done before with our son. You get it? You know what I mean? It just gives me a lot of hope for the future.
Of course.
Lots of good times. Thank you, Mom, for participating in Till the Dirt with Pommy and MJ, and we can't wait to have you back again.
Welcome.
Okay, guys. One more thing. When you order the cameos, will you let me know in the message that you ordered it because you heard us here? I'm just genuinely curious. And you can find us on Cameo /Mercedes Javid and Cameo /Tommy Fight. And don't forget, we love your reviews. We love hearing from you. You can send us DMs at Till the Dirt. And if you know a friend that would love to laugh along to our stories, please share our links with your friends. And you guys can talk shit about us with each other, kind of like we do with the Housewives. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Till the Dirt with Tommy and MJ. We're so happy you're coming on this journey with us. It would mean so much to us if you would rate our show, give us 5 stars, leave a nice comment, and subscribe so that you can stay up to date with all our new episodes. You could also follow us on all platforms at Till the Dirt with Tommy and MJ. See you next week.